The business is under threat from this new phase of AI.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT
could lead to the extinction of humans.
Today, I'd like to talk to you about OpenAI's magician backflip on a surfboard, if you like. Their mass persuasion trick, which they did before your eyes, before all of our eyes, and no one even batted an eye because no one really noticed. But today you're going to notice, and when I share with you how exactly this is done and what exactly happened, it's going to feel like 2020 rather. And it's just going to seem obvious, like, wow, okay, how did I not see this? There's actually a fair number of people who do not know that ChatGPT even exists, believe it or not. And I say believe it or not, and you probably get why I say believe it or not if you're watching this. We are living through an AI revolution right now. And like anything, there are pros and cons to it, but to not be aware of what is happening and what is only going to happen one time in our lifespans, something that is both, for many, justifiably and understandably scary, but also exciting for all the positives that it will also bring and that we're working hard to ensure that it brings. I think it's an exciting time to be alive, and it's too bad that those people are not aware who are not aware. AI's magician backflip on a surfboard. What is it? What exactly happened? Well, in late November of 2022, ChatGPT was released by OpenAI, and it quickly stormed the beaches of public awareness. You looked around, every news outlet suddenly was covering this chatbot, but it wasn't just a chatbot, because chatbots have been around. Chatbots were popular even before this. You could build your own chatbot on Facebook Messenger, for example, and other tools and platforms. The bot would say, hey, can I help you with something? And you had like 5 options that you could pick from. This was different because this was a conversational chatbot that you can distinguish its outputs in terms of quality in many, if not most cases, from that of a human being, except for the fact that you could actually see it typing and outputting in real time faster than a human could. And within a matter of, I think it was within 2 months, 100 million people signed up for OpenAI's ChatGPT just to try it out and to use it. Kids were using it for homework and still are, to the death of homework, I suppose. If I was a kid in high school, I don't know how I wouldn't use this. Homework sucks. So happy I'm not in school anymore. But people looked at this, and part of why the news was covering it so much was because there was a fear angle. And in the news business, the cliche is if it bleeds, it leads, right? Now, logically, if you're getting press coverage, right, and that press coverage, you can already kind of see the future a little bit with it, and you see that there's some negative in terms of the tone. Oh, well, it's kind of scary. This is kind of, the news reporters kind of, talking in the newsroom with their guests, like, oh, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? How are we supposed to interpret it? Is it good? Is it bad? And you already see, the risks of this, what does this mean for homework? What is this, something as simple as that, but what does this mean for jobs? What does this mean for how we're going to work together and do work in the future? And, copyright and, writing of books and fiction, and how we'll be able to tell the difference if we cannot tell that an AI is writing this. And it seems to be intelligent. Oh my God. So the logical persuasion play that would come from this, when I say persuasion, you kind of use that word interchangeably with marketing, although there is a difference. There's a lot of overlap in terms of definitions. The logical response would be, if you are OpenAI, well, look at all the good that it's going to do. And you try to emphasize that. And that's pretty much all you do. You build your product and you say, this is wonderful. It's great technology. It can do all these positive things over here. Look, I'll even demonstrate it for you. This is the logical way to go about persuading in this situation. And it might have some impact. But again, the fear, there was this fear factor. You could feel it in the zeitgeist that, ChatGPT had entered into of public awareness of what does this mean for the future of the economy and jobs? So perhaps a slightly better play would be to lean into it, to lean into the fear. And how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, you could kind of lean into it and say, yes, we agree. I think maybe we can come up with some logical regulations, but maybe it's too soon for that. But in general, the idea is you lean into it, all right? But instead, what did they do? And this was the not just rabbit out of a hat, but I like to say magician doing a backflip on a surfboard. And I like to say that mainly because it's going to make it more memorable for you. Speaking of persuasion, a magician doing a backflip on a surfboard. And I like to say that and describe it that way too, not just because it's going to be more memorable for you, but because it was so effective and so well done right before our very eyes, and we didn't even see it. We didn't even see it. So they leaned into it, but they leaned into it all the way, all the way. They went for not just lean into it, not just using logic of looking at the good. They leaned into it all the way, and they went the route of maximum fear. Maximum fear. This strategy of leaning into it via maximum fear, it just leapfrogged over all of the near-term and immediate, other issues that were kind of like around fear and that had a logical basis. And frankly, I think even more of a logical basis. And they went straight for Terminator. It's an existential threat. This is the beginning of Terminator, James Cameron. The robots are walking around. They're coming to your home. It's happening. And we have to control it. We have to regulate it. This is the real deal. And you saw Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, going to Congress and making this case publicly, testifying before, I believe, the House and the Senate maybe, or maybe just one of them. But you saw him on TV talking about this and in interviews as well. And it was a master stroke because suddenly no one is talking about the near-term impact and what does this mean for potentially turning the economy within the near term upside down on its head. No, we're talking about, sentient artificial intelligence that is going to take over the world, and it needs to be regulated. And wink, wink, only companies that are, smart enough and, have enough funding and all the computational firepower, and only the greatest minds can work on this problem. So therefore, it must be regulated. And some regulation has started to come out along those lines. And people, rightfully so, started accusing OpenAI and Google and others of attempting regulatory capture, where basically, through government regulation and intervention, that they would actually obtain an advantage over this new and developing industry and technology built primarily on large language model, LLMs for short. So that was the trick. By going the route of maximum fear, and this example, it shows how powerful fear is. I mean, this is Persuasion 101. This actually wasn't defined in my mind either up until, maybe 5-6 years ago. But fear is the most powerful of all levels of persuasion because it shuts down reasoning. It is attacking, invading, or persuading in a nicer way in your mind at the level of the reptilian brain. It's activating all these different centers, and when you're fearful of something, you're not going to be the most rational typically. You're just going to react, instead of analyze. It was a masterstroke because I think that the potential for regulation and social reflection and asking, I think, more immediate near-term questions about the pros and cons of this new and developing technology were simply kind of pushed to the side. So no one really talked about the real impact. It's slowly, I think, going to creep back into the conversation, but they controlled the conversation. They were able to, with one stroke, really just move the Overton window. Instead of it was over here and it was just starting to cover. Okay, what are going to be the immediate? Nope. What? Terminator, James Cameron, robots coming to kill you.
Hasta la vista, baby.
We've got to stop this. And I'm not saying that these opinions and views were insincere. I think there's a good possibility, even probability, that the company, Sam Altman and others, did and do sincerely hold this view. I held this view very strongly, actually, in 2017 myself. I actually hold it less now. I think that the potential and probability of a more positive outcome is gradually rising, especially as I have learned about AI myself and even built it from scratch, not any of these frameworks, but like literally built neural networks from zero, by hand in some cases, just to make sure I really understood it at a ground level. So again, this happened right before your eyes. Take from it what is useful, which is, that there are different levels of persuasion going on at all time in your life and in business. And this was a masterstroke which very few people actually noticed. And my intention with this video is to get it out there for your consideration to think about. If you find this interesting, if you'd like me to do more of a deeper analysis on this, do let me know in the comments. If you found value in this video and you'd like me to do more in this format, I'm kind of rushing because I have a demo actually happening right now for a Grobo customer. We're launching the Grobo platform right now. Grobo is all about helping businesses to automate their growth with AI agents, teams of AI agents, and automated workflows that give structure and help to guide the agents to behave and get work done in a predictable and customizable fashion. So if you'd like to learn more about that, go check out grobo.com. I do believe personally that the future is bright and positive. With AI, I think that it's going to be uncomfortable and definitely a little bit both scary and exciting in the near term. But I think that we're going to be all right. And with my company, Grobo, we're working to build a great future to help businesses to grow and integrate AI into their business in the age of AI. So if you found value from this video, once again, please like, comment, subscribe, and consider sharing this video with others who you think may find it interesting or valuable. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next video.